morning. Welcome to Recreational Knitting. Maybe this is a little bit better than the last video. My name is Karen and I have been living in an RV for almost 4 years with my husband while we've traveled the United States. We visited 48 states, I think 62 national parks and forests, and countless other places within the United States. We are now at home. We've bought our new home, and this is my craft room, which is a disaster. You should see it. If you didn't see it, go back and look at my last video. It's pretty much a mess, but it'll get there. My shelving is supposed to be delivered today, so that should help. Anyway, and now we are home in Florida and ready to start a new chapter of our lives. Pardon the mouthy pup. In a new house, he's extra crazy. He hears everything new and is pretty much a nuisance. So again, I apologize. Got my hair cut yesterday. Woo! Yeah, that was a big one. That does make you feel better. And those of you wondering, I'm not feeling any better, but I'm faking it till I make it. So anyway, this video is going to be about all the knits that I found opening boxes. So let's start. This, I have no idea what pretty much any of these are pattern-wise, but I'm sure if you go on Ravelry, most of them will be found. This is a scarf that I made from some Noro. I love this scarf. I made a scarf for my daughter out of some alpaca blend, and yeah, got strings on it. Yeah, that's a good shot. Yeah, and this is like one skein of Noro. Couldn't tell you what Noro, but it's very woolly. So I use this when we go to, we have a timeshare in Newport, Rhode Island, which is off season, and we go, and I usually take this scarf with me because it will go with anything black and it's nice and cozy warm. So that's the first knit that I found when I was going through all the things. Here comes number 2. This was made, I don't think with a Zar Ball, but it could have been. No, it's too woolly feeling for that. I don't know what the yarn is, but I'm sure we've all seen this pattern somewhere on Ravelry. It's very woolly, and when I worked, I used to wear it like that. Another beautiful knit that I probably will wear once or twice while we're here in Florida. This I made years ago, and I can't believe that I made it. And I can't remember exactly how to wear it, but it's like a scarfy, poncho-y thing, and it's made out of a mix. There probably is some wool in it, but it's cabled. And I remember at the time thinking, I have to seam this thing, and I don't know how to seam it. These were the days before I knew Mattress Stitch. And I don't know how I did this, but it looks like a sewing machine was involved. So anywho, yeah, so this is kind of like, I remember knitting it, and it's like 2 two squares, two rectangles that are kind of knit together. Sewn together. And it really, I've used this many, many times. It's just really nice to throw on over, like a long sleeve t-shirt, going out to, grocery store. You kind of look put together, even if you're not. Again, no pattern, but I remember using some profanity. Oh gosh, and look at the edges. The edges are really rotten. Anyway, yeah, I remember, using some profanity with this because I had many times I had to pull back because of the cabling. And it was dark, but I could see better then. So that's number 3. What's number 4? This is, I know what the yarn is. It's Mission Falls. And because I'm making a hat right now, I started a hat. And this again was just a little bandana kind of thing. Nothing special. I don't know that I even had a pattern. I just kind of like knit. And Mission Falls, which I think is probably out of business now. It's a worsted weight. I don't know what the color is. Can you see the pink, the burgundy, and the tan in there? And then, it kind of has a pinky hue to it. But again, it's not, I just wanted to use like one skein, and that's the size I got. So yeah, so that's now this next one, that's 4. This is 5. I remember knitting this barely, but this is one of those, remember when these were all the rage, where you put these through and you had a little tie. I don't know what the yarn is. I barely have recollection of knitting this, but it's fuzzy, and I almost think that I used 2 yarns together, but maybe not. And this was sewn together too, and it looks like a sewing machine was involved. So yeah, there's something that is rather out of style, but I'm gonna keep it because that's who I am. This is something I made 20 years ago, and it's not knit, it's woven. I took a weaving class. I took a series of weaving classes, and this was the culmination of what I did. And I'm really rather proud of it. And I'm assuming that's why I've kept it all these years. But yeah, it's really the only thing that I ever wove. I mean, did a bookmark and, those kinds of things. But this is something that I wore regularly when I worked. Because it really went with so much, it went with white, it went with black, it went with gray, blue, and I, as a speech pathologist, I always tried to dress, as my kids would call boring, kind of toned down. Because kids that I worked with oftentimes were stimulated by jewelry and, all kinds of things. So I would try to draw things up towards my face so that they would watch. And a lot of times it would work. Not always, because kids. So anyway, I'm pretty proud of this thing. These are all things that are going to get blocked eventually again. Yeah, so I'm pretty proud of that one. I'm also pretty proud of this one. And I don't know what this is made out of. But if I had to guess, I think that there was maybe some camel or something like that, alpaca probably, but it feels like camel, but it's definitely a blend. It's a wool. And I remember in the early years of Ravelry, finding this pattern. It was a free pattern. Again, I have no clue to what it is. And I remember there was a group of us that decided to do it together. Otherwise, I probably would have abandoned it because I'm not good at lace. But this turned out very nicely. So, yeah. There he is. I guess the trash guy or recycling guy is here. Who hasn't made one of these? Yeah, I forget the pattern, but this was definitely a Zar Ball. And I love the colors and this one. Yes, I do. And my husband is home. The last one is when I first got back to knitting, and it's got oogly booglies all over it. This is what happens when you pick the wrong yarn for the pattern that you're using. This is a single ply, it's Malabrigo, and I just wanted to do it. So I hope you enjoyed my little fashion show today, and hopefully you'll get to see some new things. And I just want to thank you all for being patient with me. And I want to thank all of you who have supported me, both just by your comments and your suggestions, as well as the Ko-Fi. I really appreciate it. And I thank you from the bottom of my heart. Knit in peace.